WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish that bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more rivers, reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, wherever you are, whenever you are. This is, of course, yet another week of the Wsl Academy Lowdown. And we're starting on a negative. We're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about it. It is just me once again today. Unfortunately, we do not have Rich, but he will hopefully be back with us on another time. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about West Ham United 5, Crystal Palace 2 in the Women's Super League. I don't want to talk about this. I really don't. I wanted to be a bit more positive, as I have been throughout the majority of the season so far when it comes to the WSL. But unfortunately, things have not been going well. Things have not been going well. And we are, I think it can be expected, knees deep in this relegation battle. Now, before this game started, West Ham and Crystal Palace were in the bottom end of the table. It is now clear as day, with a substantial difference on the table, that we are bottom. Well, no, we're joint bottom with Leicester. I will correct myself. I misread the table. But the goal difference speaks for itself, and this is where we will speak on. Now, I'll go over the game first, and then we will talk about the problem I have with the team and the squad. So, the game gets off to a flying start. An amazing start. First 5 minutes, Guile scores off a really well-timed pass from Blanchard. In the back of the net it goes. There we go, 1-0. Then that's quickly followed up by India Page Riley getting a second. Goal. I think their goalkeeper must have seen it late or was caught in La La Land, because she stands still and just watches it just roll into the back of the net. One change from the previous game was that I believe there was one change, and it was Hayley Nolan. Yes, Hayley Nolan came in into this game for Josie Green. I really don't. That's where the positives kind of end. The ball, the ball movement was really, really good, as always. We are a passing team, and the passing and the distribution was good. It was there. The finishing, bit lacking. And then it all goes downhill from there. Big up Mitch in the comments. Worst result in the WSL, if not the worst scoreline. I think from where we are and where West Ham are, yes. Worst scoreline, Chelsea game. This is the Chelsea game is the worst scoreline, but this result stings the most. This is our worst result so far, I will agree there. West Ham United are one of the teams you'd expect to be near the bottom, so if they can put 5 past us unanswered, it is not a good sign for survival. Yes, and I will speak on this once I've finished the game roundup. Was a really shocking game. Mitch says first 15 minutes were so good. I completely agree. Not just the goals, but West Ham had nothing for us. Took the ball off of them without trouble, and like I said, the distribution, the passing, the off the ball movement from the wide players up to Stengel, really, really good. It was full of, at that moment, I thought relegation was off the table. We looked at best of the rest, cruising to another away win, but it switched completely, and we just didn't have any good play for the last 80% of the game. Yes, and I think the elements do play a factor. We did see a couple players slip. I will note that Annabelle Blanchard slipped a couple times. Players were trying to find their feet in these blustery conditions. Okay, we've talked about Blanchard finding Gale. Great goal, well timed. Finish, India Page Riley does well. And it all goes downhill from here. Asai scores West Ham's first goal at the back post again. Why do we have problems at the near post? Because the ball was sent in. Yanez can't do anything about it. It's into the back of the net through pretty much an open goal. Asai does have a shot that was saved by Yanez just before that. But nonetheless, we concede the first goal. Then um, we have a chance for Blanchard to restore a 2-goal cushion, but Blanchard just can't keep the ball down, and it goes over the bar almost at practically point blank range. Got to be doing better there. We we will admit this. Pubel gets a strike at goal, and it is deflected ever so slightly, but I've seen a lot of people call it fortunate. It was an unfortunate deflection or a fortunate deflection. Depends on your vernacular, depends on your point of view. I think no matter what, need to be doing better. Need to be doing better. Then that makes it 2-2. Then when you think it can't get any worse. Oh yes. Oh yes it does. So right before half time, Pavi makes it 3-2, and this goal is the second worst goal that we conceded in this game. The first one, the worst goal, I will talk about in a moment, and I've got a lot to say about it because I'm not happy about that. About I think it was the fourth goal they scored. Their fourth goal. Oh, I've got some things to say about that, and it's a good thing that we are not nowhere near the watershed time. Because if we were, oh, this stream would be demonetized like that. Right, I've got my notes on my phone. I'll stop looking over into the corner now. Right. So that's 3-2 at half time. We've shipped 3 goals in practically no time at all. We do better in the second half. Pavi gets a shot off, trying to get her second of the game, evades the Palace defense again. Can you kind of see where I'm going with where I'm not happy about this performance? Yanez saves. Gaio gets a corner in. No player can get on the end of it. West Ham managed to break off of just ever so slightly shortly after that, but Haley Nolan is able to put an end to that. We have Stengel is unable to get onto the score sheet, but it's just pretty much all West Ham from here. Ueki's header is blocked off the line, and then Denton. Denton for West Ham is given practically the entire run of the pitch. No one presses. No one decides to even try and put a tackle in. The defense is all over the place. We've got players losing their marks. We've got players just standing around, jogging backwards, waiting for someone to take responsibility. It doesn't. Denton has practically a clear shot at goal because no one's going to put pressure on her, and she scores. And you see all the players around, especially Blanchard. Blanchard is howling at the defense. Why is no one there? Why is no one putting pressure on? Why is no one making the correct defensive decisions? It is it is the worst goal I've seen us concede. The worst goal. Because no one decides, oh, here's a player who's running in at goal. Should I put a tackle in? Should I try and pressure her off the ball? Granted, if you foul her, you give away a free kick, but it's a tactical free kick. No? No one? Okay, fine. 4-2. 4-2. Then the near post again. The near post again. We have a goalkeeper who can't save at the near post because Gory makes it 5-2 just before the end of the game because the defense has fallen asleep again. And I'm not gonna lie, the defense is terrible. Sure, they might have gotten out of a few scrapes here and there during the majority of the game, but they just looked haggard, they looked tired, they looked ridiculously amateur. That is the word. They are ridiculously amateur. Now, I might be maybe a bit too critical, but having watched that game and having seen the result, we go 2-0 up to then concede 5 in a row is utterly shambolic. There are unfortunately I don't have a co-host here who I can bounce off of, so it is literally just going to be me ranting about this result. We have Manchester United up next, and I will not be surprised if we concede the same amount of goals, if not more, because Manchester United are lethal. Where do we go from here? Straight back down to the Championship if we keep playing like that, because that was horrific. The defense needs sorting out. It's good that we can bring in all these offensive replacements, all these good players who are up front, making distributions, sending in crosses from corners and other set pieces. Players who can finish like Blanchard and Gale and Stengel and Kato. But when the defense is just ridiculous in their attempts, it it's a shame that we let go of Gibbons. It's a shame because I think she would have been I think she would have made a even better goalkeeper. But 5-2, and I've got nothing else to say about it, about the result. Laura Kaminsky reacts to it. She's pretty honest. Um, she said that our mistakes in transition cost us in the second half. It's another tough lesson to learn and one we'll focus on as we move forward. Why aren't these lessons having been learned? We're 8 games in. We're 8 games in. These lessons should not be lessons to be learning 8 games into a season. It's ridiculous. We are constantly losing points from a winning position. Constantly. And that is going to have a mental effect on not just management, but on the team as well. And they already will know that their mistakes have cost the team, or at least the institution, points here. We are fighting for survival in the WSL. Granted, this is our debut season. No one is going to be expecting us to light the league on fire. We've practically brought in a whole brand new team. But we were 2-0 up and we were playing so well. Um the gap between us and Leicester is tight, obviously. We are joint on points and that, but 7 goals on the difference. 7 goals. Practically it's laughable. It's laughable. Where do we get our next win from? Because I do not see it coming up anytime soon. I mean, we've got who have we got next? Well, we've got Tottenham in the League Cup. That's in 2 days' time. Then we face Manchester United at home. Then we face Arsenal away, and then Tottenham again, and that takes us up until the end of January. We're not getting points off of this, off of off of those 3 league games. I tell you that now. I tell you that now. Not unless something magical happens. Right. That's 15 minutes talking about the WSL. Um, the under-18s lost 1-0 to Manchester City is under-18s in a 1-0 defeat in the FA Youth Cup. Unfortunately, there are no notes on this. I was not able to make any notes on this, so I will have to rely on the Crystal Palace app here. So you will excuse me. It is a late goal. Jesse Derry and Mofe Yemedi start in place of Samadi and Casey. Sean Derry. Oh, it's a howler. That's a howler. Jesse Derry. Free kick is just over the bar. So we're seeing a lot more positive aspects on the under 18 side, but we've got Jesse Derry, we've got Mofe Jemedi, we've got so many good players um, who are able to perform at these levels. I think give them the rest of this season, obviously, and then given going into next season, I think we'll certainly see Jemedi, Derry, Zach Henry up in the under 21s level, and should they keep impressing, who knows? Their ceiling is unlimited. We could see them go through the Justin Devaney route and start playing for the senior team if they continue to impress, such as they are. 1-0 in a very, very, very late fashion is not the end of the world. Granted, no one wants to concede late. You don't want to concede anyway, but hey, they keep Man City's youth 0-0 for the majority of the game. Um, yeah, there's not a lot else I've got on there for this game, unfortunately. The under 21s are playing tomorrow at the VBS. They are facing Anderlecht's under 21s in their defense of the Premier League International Cup. Um, that's about it. I think we've just got Loan Watch left to do. And we're going to start off with one of our goalkeepers. And no, it's not Super Joe Whitworth. It's Super Owen Goodman. He keeps yet another clean sheet. Why have our goalkeepers who are out on loan are just keeping clean sheets? Like, eh? Granted, a Premier League clean sheet is not the same as a League One or a Championship clean sheet. But hey, Owen Goodman keeps his 9th clean sheet across all competitions for Wimbledon as they won against Harrogate Town 3-1 3-0 in League Two. They're continuing a push towards the playoff places. Let's talk about Danny Imre playing for Bromley in League Two. He has continued his fine form in back-to-back starts. 2-1 wins over Gillingham in the midweek, and then against Accrington Stanley over this past weekend. Amazing, amazing performance. And of course, Bromley will be going up to St James's Park the start of the new year in the FA Cup third round. History made there for our fellow South London club. Unfortunately, the news was not as good for Joe Whitworth. A rare drop in form as Stockport County Exeter City lost 2-0 to Stockport County, and they also drew 2-2 with Wycombe Wanderers in the midweek. But between the two games, Whitworth pulls off 10 saves. That's both games, respectively, against Wycombe and against Stockport, respectively. 10 saves, but couldn't keep a clean sheet. Unfortunately, Teo Adaramola was not featured in that Stockport versus Exeter game, but he did feature in midweek action against Birmingham City, coming on as a substitute in the last 10 minutes of the game. Jezran Rakzaki, what a player. He makes his 5th consecutive start for Sheffield United at the top of the Championship as they drew 2-2 to West Brom. Up in the north, in Scotland, good old Scotland. Killian Phillips played his 4th consecutive 90 minutes for St Mirren, but they were narrowly defeated by Motherwell 1-0. And finally, in the FA Trophy for Wealdstone, Jack Wells-Morrison plays a full 90, but they were defeated 3-1 by Aldershot Town, ending their run in that competition. Yeah, there's Loan Watch, and there's my run about the WSL. Coming up, obviously, for the under-21s, as I said, Anderlecht up tomorrow at 7 o'clock, the VBS. So if you are going, please enjoy yourself. And then we face Liverpool's under-21s on the 16th. For the under-18s coming up on the 17th, we are at home to Chelsea's under-18s, and then following that, we are away on the 11th of January. So it's a pretty long break for the under-18s. We will be facing West Ham United. Hopefully, they do better than the women's team. As I said, for the women's team, FA League Cup action for them as they face Tottenham Hotspur on the 11th, and then 4 days after that, they are at home to Manchester United, kicking off at 2 p.m. at home. So if you are going to that, do have fun, because my hopes are not high, I'm sorry to say. Right, that is all from me. Tact Eagle is next tomorrow. Don't miss out on that with JC and Dan as we face. I'm the only one here, so I can't get Simbined, but I'm not going to risk it because, yeah, we're facing them. You know exactly who I mean. You know who I'm talking about. We're facing them this weekend, and I cannot wait for that. Oliver Glasner's first time facing them. Yeah. We've also got preview coming up this week as well. We will finalize that, and you will hear from us when that is going to be this week. Also, we will, for the first time ever, we will have an away vlog for this game. JC is going to Brighton. You didn't hear me say that. He's going down there. What? Thank God no one's here, because that is the biggest pause I think I've done this month. That's a howler. Right, he's on his way down to the game, so he'll be there. Hopefully, an away vlog will be just as good as hopefully the result will be. And then obviously, the EFL Cup is up next for the senior men's team as well. We're away to Arsenal in a double header against them. That's pretty much it from me. It's a very, very short one because there hasn't been a lot to talk about. Yeah, not a lot else to speak on. Like, share, and subscribe. Up the Palace, as always. Stay safe. Peace out.